Hi guys, Jnic here with another Author Time tutorial series. I don't want to make this whole long intro again. All I want to say is come say hi on Twitch if you feel like it. Link is in the description, and make sure you use the timestamps that are also in the description if you want to jump to any specific track or whatever, right? So let's go. And welcome to map 11. Let's just jump straight into it. There's not a lot to say about this map, but I will go through the small things that I think are very important, as I always do. Now, first things first, you want to make sure that you go in between these two pillars in the beginning. Okay, this is just a faster line and it's going to set you up for this downhill that is right here. Okay, here you can see I drive to the left to maintain as much ground contact as I possibly can. I also try to look out for my gears while I do so. Quick update, or not quick update, quick side note. If you don't remember how gears work and stuff, be sure to check the gears tutorial, not the gears tutorial, just the regular tutorial that I made. You can see it in the top right or top left corner, one of those things. Make sure you check that out. Look at how gears work, look at how speed drifting work. Those two things are going to be pretty important for you to understand for some of the tracks. Okay. So we do the jump and we drive to the right. Okay, here you can see that I noticed that my gear is about to go up. I'm about to shift gears up. So what I do is I try to straighten out my car, and you can see I shifted gears. Now you're gonna be able to listen for the gears if you get more used to it. But just know that I straighten my car out here when I shift gears to make sure that I don't lose speed. Right here, I go for a tight line. So I try to jump to make sure that I go as tight on this turn as possible without losing too much speed. And I just jump down into the next turn. You don't want to land with too much of an angle here because you're going to lose speed. Okay, here you do a quick right, left to make sure that you don't hit the wall up here. Okay, so you drive to the right and then to the left to make sure that that turn is possible for you to do. Now in this turn up here, I do a small brake tap. I brake a little bit, or you can release, either one works. And then I go as wide as possible to preserve my speed, okay? I go as wide as possible, and I exit right at the edge there. And then I just drive towards the goal while SDing a little bit. That's all there is to the map. Let's look at it at full speed again. Driving in between the poles, maintaining ground contact. Making sure that when I do this turn, I gear up while I'm not turning. Up here, we want to go tight. So we go tight. We want to land without having too much of an angle because it's going to slow you down. Quick right, left. Okay. Up here, we want to go for a wide line. That's it. And then just into the finish, and it's all good. On to the next one. So guys, welcome to map 12. Let's just jump right into it. Here in the very beginning, let's just look at the very beginning here. Around here, I usually go into cam 3, which is your first person camera, but it's called cam 3. So I look from the player's point of view, from the car's point of view. It's gonna help you a little bit with orienting yourself on the wall. And what I do when I'm on the wall is I, around here, start to tap my accelerator. I go as tight as possible while tapping the acceleration, and then around here I start holding it down again. The reason I tap the acceleration is to be able to go as tight as possible, okay? It's gonna save you a little bit of time. Now here you can see that I do a air brake to stop my car's rotation in the air, and I land in a drift. Then I try to go in between these two trees. You're gonna fail a bunch, and I also fail a bunch. It's kind of inconsistent, but you can go in between those two trees and it's gonna save you some time. Here we do a drift to the right. You want to angle your drift to make it so you go between this wall and that corner without letting go of your accelerator. And you have a pretty decent amount of wiggle room with it. And the reason you have a decent amount of wiggle room with it is because of this trick that I'm just about to show you. Right here, when your car is about to leave the platform, when your back wheels are about to leave the platform, you can see I'm holding down the brake. What you want to do is hold down the accelerator and the brake at the same time while you're flying. You can see my car doesn't turn. Like, the angle at which it's flying doesn't change. And I keep doing this until I'm at the apex of my jump. You can see I'm still holding down the brake button and the accelerator. And when the car is about to descend down towards the ground, I let go of the brake button, like right there. And then that's gonna give you a pretty tremendous speed boost, actually. Okay, let's just go back. Let's watch that again. Here. Alright, so you drive up towards this booster and you angle your car towards the next turn. Right when you're about to leave the platform, you hold down the brake button and the acceleration button all the way up until your car is about to descend. When your car is about to descend, you go back to just holding the accelerator and it's gonna give your car a speed boost. This is a pretty significant speed boost, actually. It's gonna save you like, I don't know, 0.4? Something crazy like that. So that's definitely worth doing. Now, let me just mention how I go into this turn right here. Here, I drive up the wall a little bit, and it's gonna, you can see kind of where which line I do. But the reason I do this line is it's gonna be pushing your car forwards, and it's gonna give you even more speed. And for this last turn, you just wanna drift. Make sure you drift enough to be able to go into the finish. As you guys know, the less that you drift, the more speed you preserve. So try to drift as little as possible. Make sure you maintain that speed as much as possible. But that's pretty much it for the entire map. Let's watch it again in real time. So we do some acceleration presses here. We don't go full speed. We do a drift to the left, go in between these trees. We do a drift to the right. Make sure we have a good angle towards this turn. We do the booster trick right here. Gonna give us some speed. We go up the wall, it pushes us forward, and then we do one last drift where we drift as little as possible to make it into the finish. And that's it for map 12. Welcome to map 13. Let's just jump right into it. Now, there's not a lot to say about this track, but I'm gonna point out, some of the important things here. So it's gonna be pretty fast moving. Here in the beginning, there's not much to say. Just make sure that you drop down to keep speed. You can see the angle that I'm dropping down here. I'm trying to be as close to the wall as possible. And then when I drive towards the tarmac over here, I try to do a little bit of speed drifting. Then I go tight on this turn to set myself up for a drift to the right here. This drift to the right is pretty important because it's gonna angle your car towards this turn. Now for this turn right here, what I aim to do is I aim to go halfway up this hill. I'm trying to go halfway up that hill by the time the turn is about to begin. So you can see right here, I am where the hill is starting to curve upwards, right? But I'm also where the hill is starting to turn. Now this is gonna push my car up towards the surface, up towards the top of the hill. You can see it right here. Even though I'm turning to the right, my car is being pushed upwards. So try to make sure that you enter the turn here to be able to be right here when the turn starts. You wanna be above the middle. You wanna be where the bank surface is when the turn is about to happen. You're gonna be pushed up towards this checkpoint. Now here is a bunch of dirt. We're again gonna utilize the speed drifting mechanic and we're gonna get more speed. Now I have a decent amount of speed here. I actually have a little bit too much, so I do a small release before the jump. You don't really have to worry about that because you can still get the author time without releasing. But just know if you release, the goal of releasing is to land as early on this slope as possible. That's the goal of the release. You don't have to worry too much about it. I land in the middle here. It's more than enough to get your author time. So if you're not usually jumping too far, just don't release, okay? There's not much to say about the ending of the track. The loop is just a loop, and the ending here, yeah, sure, you can optimize this a little bit, but as long as you don't crash, it's gonna be fine, okay? Now let's watch this entire track in normal speed and go through some of the important marks in the track here. The beginning here, nothing too special. You want to go as tight as possible, of course. Trying to get as little airtime here as possible, doing a little bit of speed drifting, going a tight line, doing another drift to set up for this turn. Once again, we want to be on the point of the hill where the slope is about to happen at the same time as the turn is about to happen. Right here. It's pushing my car up towards the checkpoint. We do a little bit of speed drifting, we do a jump, and the rest of the track is pretty much just don't crash. Just do the loop without too much wiggling, because you're going to lose speed from that. And then here, just make sure you don't hit the poles. It's all going to be fine. On to the next one. And here we are on track 14. Now I want to start out by saying that I know a lot of people are probably going to have a hard time getting this author time. And I understand it, it's a hard track. But just understand that the things that I'm about to tell you can be pretty obvious, but they're hard to execute. So if you already know all of this stuff, that's awesome. But some people don't, and it's just about grinding the track out. This track is just about utilizing the skill you've learned to get that author time. But I can show you some small stuff here. Now, in the beginning, there's not much to say. I want to go close to the grass on this turn. You can see I go close to the grass, and then I utilize this sloped bank here to do a jump. And the jump I use to land in a drift. This drift is being used just to continue into this turn. Try to avoid touching any of the grass. You can touch the grass, it's not the end of the world, but the more you avoid it, the more speed you preserve, right? Here we do another drift. You want to drift as little as possible. Told you this multiple times. Drift as little as possible. It's going to preserve the highest amount of speed, but just be careful you don't touch the wall. If you touch the wall, obviously that's, you know, a reset. So we just jump up here. We land on grass. Now, since we're landing on grass, we're above third gear. We're going to be able to speed drift on it. So you can see I'm doing small wiggles here just to get a little bit more speed. Now, here is where I see some people fail. Just enter enter this turn so that you can drive to the right. The reason you want to do that is you want to get as little airtime here as possible. You basically just want to maintain ground contact. So I get a little bit of airtime, that's fine. And then you want to go as tight as possible. You want to go as tight as possible, but still maintain full ground contact from the beginning of the turn. So don't jump down towards that, the bottom here. That's not how you go tight. What you want is you want to start all the way up here, maintain ground contact, and then go as tight as possible. Okay? Go in between the trees. That's fairly self-explanatory. And then you're just gonna have to work on doing this drift. This drift is very hard for a lot of people to do, but there's not much I can say about it other than you just turn and you drift. Try to maintain your car on the tarmac. Don't touch the grass, and you should be okay. Now here, there's the fastest line you can do here is trying to go in the middle of the grass bank. Okay, so try to stay in the middle of the grass bank. You can see I do a small brake here. I do a small brake tap right here. You can see my wheels light up. I have the skid marks. I do a small brake tap, and then I just turn to the right pretty hard. And then I try to maintain the car here in the middle of the dirt bank. That's the fastest line you can do here in the ending. And just jump to the finish. Let's watch this all back in full speed. And let's see if you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm obviously also going to say it. So, tight on the grass. We jump into a drift. We maintain that drift. Try not to touch the grass. Another drift. Drift as little as possible to maintain that speed. We jump and land on the grass. Do some SDs, some speed drifting. Try to maintain ground contact here and then go as tight as possible. And then for the rest of the map, here you want to do a drift. It's hard to do, you're just gonna have to try it out. And for the ending, you wanna go in the middle of the grass bank. That's all for track 14. Good luck with the hunt, guys. Welcome to the last map, map 15 of the video. I made this goal specifically with the video in mind, so it doesn't look too hard to do. I'm just gonna go through it. We're gonna talk about it like we usually do. Now, here, what I like to do here is I like to use my brake button to initiate a drift, to go tight to this corner right here. Okay, don't worry too much about this turn. The most important part to worry about. Now, if you're not too comfortable with driving on ice, I suggest that you watch the tutorial and learn some of the ice tricks there. But you want to go pretty tight on this ice. And the most important part is that you exit the ice with your wheels pointing forward, so you don't start drifting. That if you start drifting, you're gonna lose way too much speed. So make sure you exit the ice with your wheels pointing forward so you can just drive, okay? Of course, we go tight to the turns as much as we can. We wanna go tight to this corner right here as well. And then for this loop that is coming up right here, instead of me explaining it to you, I did a pretty decent explanation on stream, which I will be playing right now. Loop is that you want to be on the very left side of the field here, and then counter steer right as you go into the loop. I'm gonna do it again. Very left side of the track, and then counter steer as you go into the loop. Once again, very left side of the loop, and then counter steer as you go into the loop. Look at my inputs. Very left side and then counter steer. Okay. Very left side and then counter steer. There you go. Good. Okay, so with that explanation out of the way, we can continue looking at the loop here. We go from the left to the right. We maintain, you know, a good position in the loop, and we should have enough speed to clear this jump without bouncing. Now, for this turn right here, what I do is I start from the left side and then I jump to the right side. Okay, and notice that I jump in such a way that my front wheels are pointing towards this wall. This is gonna make sure that you don't lose speed when you touch the wall, and it's also gonna make your car try to drive a little bit up the wall. Okay, now when you start to enter the turn, I line my car out straight and I try to drive in between these red lines. Now, another controller exclusive trick again is that you can smooth steer while you're doing this, and it's going to increase your speed, but it's only something that you can do on a controller, unfortunately. If you're on a keyboard, just try to maintain your position between these two lines. It should be fine. Now, the rest of the track is pretty self-explanatory. You have a loop, and then you just have a straight road down towards the finish. Now, you can choose to just go down the middle, but it's going to jump you into the finish, and that's going to make you lose a very small amount of time because you jump, and during the jump, you're not going to accelerate. So if you drive here on the very left or right side, your car is going to maintain ground contact, and it's going to keep accelerating all the way into the goal. Now, let's watch this all in full speed. So, we do a drift right here into this turn. We jump. We do a ice slide, exit the ice slide with the wheels pointing straight so you don't start drifting. We go close to this corner, and then we do the loop trick that I explained to you how to do. Get enough speed to be able to jump up here without bouncing. Go to the very right side and maintain your car between the red lines. And then just go straight into the finish. Like, drive straight into the finish. And there you go, that's map 15 for you guys. And with that, that's the very last map of the video. I'm just gonna end the video here. I wanna say thank you everybody for watching, and check me out on Twitch if that's what you wanna do. Come say hi, I really do appreciate it. With that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Let's go.